Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome to Halloween. Yes, it's a very happy Halloween. I cannot believe it's here. Gina Crosheck joining us, our owner of PrismsScape Gems and Healing Center. And who are you today?
So I am the fairy godmother from Cinderella.
Beautiful. And I love it.
I even have a magic wand.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm a candy corn witch, half dressed because everything keeps disappearing. But I love that you dress up. We talked about it last week, so I didn't forget my costume, or half of it at least. But great to have you back. Tell us about what you do to start. Give us a quick overview, then we'll go into today's topic of conversation for Halloween.
Okay, that sounds great. So there's so many of us that make up PrismsScape Gems and Healing Center. So we've been in business. We're in our 10th year, and we are a crystal shop and a healing center. And we sell crystals with the metaphysical properties. In fact, one of the things we'll talk about today is we'll talk about crystals that are really good for this time of year with the darkness and everything. And but we are in Iowa City, Iowa, and we have a website called www.PrismsScape, PrismsScape.com.
Perfect. And
we have a phone number, and we are in the process of changing it. But right now, it's 319-351-2907.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here and excited that you're back with us today. I know you want to focus on the Sunshine Kit to start. What is that all about?
Oh, it is wonderful. So there are several of us in the world. There are a lot of us, in fact, in the world who suffer significantly as the light diminishes. In fact, they've created special lamps to help people deal with the seasonal affective disorder. And I know it's one of the things that my husband, George, wrestles with every season. And he just, all of a sudden, just doesn't have the energy he had. And so we talked among ourselves, and one of our wonderful volunteer, Ruth Ann Hyduke, put together what she calls a Sunshine Kit. And I absolutely love it. So I will show you the stones and tell you what they do. So the whole idea is they're going to help us get through these periods where we just feel lethargic and just icky and just don't want to do anything. And we just are going, where does the sunshine go? So we have with us today, the first stone in the kit is a citrine. This one also, if you could see it in person, it has rainbows in it, which makes everybody happy.
Wow.
And citrine is good for bringing happiness and joy.
Okay.
And it's also good in helping you be playful and optimistic, which is one of the things that we sort of dissipates during this time of darkness. And then the next one is septarian. And septarian is one of those nondescript stones, but it is probably the oldest stone that we have and that we know of from the earth. It comes out of Madagascar primarily. It can also come out of Utah. But it is a brown.
Beautiful.
And it's a brown stone with cream in it. And then we have sunstone. Now, sunstone is one of those very exciting stones, and it hasn't been around for a long time. They discovered it out in Washington State. It has a flash to it if you work with it. So one of the stones that has flash to it is called labradorite, and this is a variation on it. But it looks sort of like the sun with this golden color. And it is working with leadership skills. Again, it's another stone of joy. And one of the really important things now during this season is to remember to find our own personal joy and work with it. And then we have this tiny little stone called peach agate.
Never saw that before.
What? Okay. And so it is helps us with concentration and our analytical skills. And this time of year, everything moves slower.
Okay.
And we just are looking for it to help us. And it's also a very nurturing and a very creative stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably one of the most wonderful stones, there's two more. One of the most wonderful stones is lepidolite.
Ooh.
And it is purple, but it has mica in it.
Okay.
And it also has lithium in it. And lithium, we have discovered, is one of the key things to our personality in terms of bringing us calm and peace. And it also helps relieve exhaustion. And then last but not least is amber. And amber is one of the most fascinating stones because it's actually fossilized or petrified pine resin. And it's very lightweight, but it has been around for ever. And it is really good for bringing in the sun's energy. And it really is a very bright stone and very, very fun.
Awesome.
And it's also good for protection. In fact, I just sent a little necklace of amber to my great nephew who has a new son who's going to be two months old tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
It is for protection. It's one of the things that certain communities you will put around their babies to keep them protected from negative.
Oh, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. What else is in this kit? Is that it? Is there more?
That's it. And we package it with a sheet that explains all of the different stones, and we put it into a really nice little pouch.
Beautiful. And let me ask you ship them everywhere, or what's the...
We ship them within the U.S.
All right. Awesome.
We discovered that international shipping is problematic. And so we therefore just stay within the confines of the U.S.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, also for Halloween, what do you have in mind? I was reading the next segment, Halloween and Samhain. I don't even know what that is. What is that?
So Samhain it's Samhain, and it actually comes out of the Irish culture.
Okay.
And from the ancient times, and it was at the end of harvest. And it was a time of celebration, a time of festivals, and it became also known as a time when it would be good to get in touch with the ancestors.
Okay.
And it's still celebrated today. That many people believe that that particular festival is when we started to really evolve into what we now call Halloween.
Ooh.
And some people call it All Hallows Eve. And so there's something about the energy of this time of year between October 31st, and November 1st, 2nd, and sometimes going into 3rd, that they say that the veil between the other worlds and this world is thin. Okay. And so we're able to work with the spirit, become conscious of the spirits of our ancestors, work with them. And in fact, in Mexico, they celebrate the Day of the Dead with on the 1st and the 2nd of November, and people will put up altars for working with honoring their ancestor. And Samhain. So it's really one of those celebrations or festivals that has been in different places in the world and goes by different names.
Ooh.
And so we, the one that people in this country celebrate the most, started out with Samhain.
Okay.
And but we also have a lot of Irish and Scot heritage in the U.S.
Awesome.
So.
Now, hold on. By the way, just want to remind everyone who we're talking to. I know, Gina Crosheck. Just got to make sure you guys all reach out to PrismsScape.com. That's PrismsC, two S's, sorry, Scape, PrismsScape, SCAPE.com. And again, at her healing center, she offers so much healing, right, with the metaphysical company she has. And the crystals we've talked about her doing Reiki in the past life regression, speaking of,
Yes.
And she loves working with people all over. And just to let you know, go to that website, or you can go visit her in person in Iowa City. And for today's special, obviously being that it's Halloween, I want to know more about All Saints Day compared to the Day of the Dead. What is it exactly? And then how do we work with our ancestors?
So the process of, so they say that when the Catholic Church came in to be so prevalent in Europe and in the United Kingdom area, that they recognized that the people who were indigenous to that land were celebrating this one festival this time of the year. Mm-hmm. And so they decided that probably it was time to name an All Saints Day or an All Souls Day. And so that became the day in the U.S. and the U.K. and other European countries where they honored the dead and worked with them. And then in Mexico and South America and other segments, other countries, they call it the Day of the Dead and celebrate it and put up altars for the ancestors who passed. And they will always leave when they're having their festivals, because it usually involves parties and festivals and lots of food, which is what celebrations are about anymore. It's lots of food. And so they'll set aside a place at the table for the ancestor or whoever, whatever spirit is going to come in.
Got it.
And so this morning, George, my husband, we live on a farm that it was first, his great-grandmother, Barbara, first purchased it in 1891. And so around the holiday time, great-grandmother Barbara pops in.
Oh, my gosh.
And so today she sort of popped in, and so did his grandmother's brother, Uncle Walter. And it's just that whole sense of once you start to sensitize yourself, you're open and able to work with different spirits, or at least communicate with them and hear what they say. So, like, for instance, great-grandmother Barbara left a darning needle on our kitchen floor one day, and I was talking with my friend who's a medium, and she said, "Oh, yeah, that's great-grandmother Barbara." And she says, "I'm here for the holidays. I want to see what the family is doing." And so it's that whole business of, even though we have no physical contact with them, we can still have contact with their energies and with their spirits, and we can learn things from them. And this is a time of the year when it's easiest for us to actually reach them and talk with them. So if people have questions of the ancestors that they want answered, now is the time. But I think one of the things, whenever you're working in this realm, that everyone needs to do is you need to always set what we call sacred space. Yeah. So you create with a prayer, or you create with some sort of honoring ceremony to make sure that you are only dealing with 100% light beings, or with the beings that are appropriate for us at this time. So you can have nothing coming in that's going to be harmful to you. And so, yes, that's very important. But I just think that it's one of the gifts of this time that we're living in is so many of the things that people have talked about over the past, through the centuries or written about. We're now able to access that information, that energy, and it's just fun. But it is also something that you approach with respect and you approach it with caution.
Got it.
So
amazing. Thank you for sharing that. This is an exciting time. What do you do on Halloween night? What do you do today? Do you have a lot of trick-or-treaters where you are?
Well, we don't personally at our house because we literally live at the end of a 1 mile road that dead ends into government ground. And it, again, is this sort of tucked away little sanctuary. But the shop, we have Halloween candy out, and we're giving a discount to people, particularly if they come in wearing a costume. So you would get a discount today of 15% for being in costume. And in terms of coming into the shop and buying anything today.
I love it. Thank you so much. My goodness, we still have plenty more time to talk. We got 9 minutes left in the show. So what else do you want to make sure we address for today?
So I would say that probably one of the things that is interesting is how festivals coincide. So today is also Diwali.
Oh, okay.
Which is a Hindu celebration of their festival of the lights. And it just coincides that today, this next 5 days are going to be the celebration of Diwali, which if you were in India, the whole world would be alight and would be celebrating again this time of time to, they use lights to surround things. And so it's just a beautiful time. And it also involves celebrating the ancestors. So I think the celebration of ancestors, and then I'm just trying to think if there are other things that we are coming up to. But that is one that I think is wonderful. There was a show not long ago. It was a wonderful show where it was an office. It was a call center that was located in India. In fact, that was the first time that I had ever heard of Diwali. Mm-hmm. And since then, I've had friends who actually celebrate Diwali here in the States. And so it's quite wonderful.
Awesome. So. There's so much excitement during this time of year, and I just feel it. There's a certain energy, right? How do you describe it?
There is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So one of the things, speaking of energy, I've been reading a book called The Light Shall Set You Free. And one of the things that it was talking about that's so fascinating to me is that energy is actually what we all are. And as a result of that, so however we are generating energy, whatever we're doing, we can generate form. And so our intellect, we can work with our intellect to create form and to recognize that. And so this whole train of thought recognizes that the thoughts that we project or the energy that we project are the things that we are creating in front of ourselves. And so that's why it becomes very important when we start talking about the future and how we want the future to be, for us to put an energy in there that is just positive and energetic and a lot of the feelings. And so you have, and that's what we were talking about not long ago in terms of visioning and holding a vision. When people start talking about terrible things that could happen, I'm just like, no, we just have to focus on the positive and what's going to be absolutely wonderful and what we want to see happen in the coming years.
Love it.
And in the coming days.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you so much. And there's so much more to you, the work that you do. And, I just love Halloween. Clearly you do. You love dressing up, and I love that about you. And people are going to be coming in today for their trick or treats. Well, I should say treats. And, the energy of your store, it's got to be so cool because it's like what you do. Is there something in particular that, we should do to be careful of like the bad spirits out there today? Or is that... is that just...
It's real. I mean, there is energy out there that isn't... We live in a world of duality, and because we live in a world of duality, it becomes important to have an understanding that, yes, if you have... Well, it's like if you have sunshine, you have darkness. And so... there are a couple of stones that we use for protection, and one of them is black tourmaline. In fact, it's been on sale all month, and it is something that people would use to that and smoky quartz and a couple of other stones shungite would put in their desk if they thought that there were some negative people in their office. And in terms of protection, I just always call in the divine. Because for someone who stayed away from anything spiritual for about 30 years, now then if I want something or anything, I'm always asking the angels to come in and help because it makes my life so much easier. It's just like this morning we were coming in, we were going a little bit behind. Yeah. And we were coming up and George, there was some truck on the road that connected to the highway, and he said, I hope we don't get stuck and that we get on the road. And we got to the end of that road and we're turning onto the U.S. highway that came into Iowa City, and there were paving trucks.
Wow.
But we were not stopped. They pushed us on, and George just said, thank you, angels, for that. And so I would always call in angelic protection and to help us. As they say, there are lots of angels, and so we just have to put them to work.
I love this. And I'm a firm believer in our angels. And I know all my ancestors, my loved ones, my mom, my grandparents, my cats, they're all with us somewhere, right? And we can connect with them. And I just love that we can make that possible. And really, I believe in this whole energy thing. And I just like, are you also like a medium? Can I call you that? A psychic as well?
So I would never refer to myself as being a medium.
Okay.
There are times when people's ancestors or people who have been close to them or their animals will come when I'm doing a Reiki session.
Yeah.
And and I can describe them and I can communicate what the messages they might want to tell them. But I would not, being a medium is something it makes sense to study. There's some people who become natural mediums, but I think it's one of those things that you really would be very careful about before claiming. And if you're going to do something like being a medium, you have to be very thoughtful or if you're psychic, you have to be very thoughtful about what you tell people. There are times when there are some messages that no one needs to hear. And so you have to be respectful and understand what the repercussions of what you tell another person could be.
Got it.
And so it's a very interesting world when you start getting messages from spirits or you get messages from other beings. And so the thing is that that's why I always set sacred space before I ever start to work in that realm.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much. A pleasure having you here. And again, to reach out to find out more about how they can get their sunshine kit, right?
Yes.
And these crystals for the dark days of winter. How much is it?
It's $14.
Oh, my goodness. That's very affordable. Plus shipping, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, plus shipping, yes.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Tell us the website, how we could find it. Thank you.
It's www.PrismsScape, PrismsScape.com. And the phone number is 319-351-2907.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you here. And we'll talk again next week. And enjoy the rest of your Halloween. And I love that you're all dressed up for the trick-or-treaters. Thanks again so much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you.
I
love your candy witch.
Thank you.
Corn witch.
Thank you for allowing me to dress up and play a little today. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.